It's time once again for the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us. Heidi Nelson with us, Maple Grove City Administrator. Lots of papers in front of her. We had a full meeting we'll tell you about, so thanks for joining us, Heidi.
Thank you.
It was about an hour and 20 minutes, so we have a lot to cover there in the meeting. And we also have a lot to cover of things happening in the city of Maple Grove. But right to the meeting, not much to cover on the consent agenda. It went through all as one. But in special business, there was an open forum related to a business in town that has a change of ownership. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we held a public hearing on a new liquor license for Maple Tavern. Anytime there's a change of ownership, they kind of have to come through the process to get a new liquor license. They're not transferable. So we had the new ownership there, or actually the manager, Laura Mendel, was there to represent the new ownership. They previously have had a management or ownership structure with about 5 owners, and now they're shifting. They've sold it, and it's just one owner representing the business. But Laura was there to talk to us about that, and they're going to be rolling out some new promotions and things with their volleyball leagues and whatnot. So yeah, public hearing on this one, and that one moved forward.
Excellent. Next item was in community development, and this was one that was tabled previously, and now it came back. This is the Mills Creek area. And roadways was one of the big topics last time we talked. So give us a little update of what happened at the meeting last night. Yeah, so this is just north of Weaver, kind of at the Forest View connection, kind of on the more east side of town. So this is a project that it is a parcel of land that's been owned by MnDOT, kind of situated in the midst of a number of existing developments. There's single family to the west, some multifamily to the north and to the south, and then some office condo type product to the east. Came forward, this was about 66 units of a small lot, single family rental type project. So a little bit of a new housing offering that we would have here in town. And it would have a high level of amenities, some walking trails, a dog park, a pavilion, some outdoor exercise equipment, that kind of thing, meant for kind of the older adult and then millennial crowd. Sure. But you're right, the biggest areas of discussion were around the road connections. Staff was very interested in having Forest View connected. It's a north-south, Collector Street connects kind of between 89th and down to Weaver. So we had an interest in seeing that connected. There were concerns raised about connecting 86 through, send a kind of neighborhood cut through traffic. So the reason why it got tabled was council had asked us to go look at what were the options there, and does this condition exist elsewhere? Have we done this before? So the end of the story, or how things move forward on the concept stage, was that 86 would be truncated there at the development and end in kind of a hammerhead, which allows for snowplow turnaround, public safety vehicle turnaround, that kind of thing. But the 86 wouldn't be connected, but that Forest View would go through. So this one gained concept stage approval, so it would come back in the future. And then just some direction to look at kind of the potential for stop signs and traffic flow up Forest View based on some concerns raised by the neighborhood to the north. Very good. Yep. And that was one that had some nice public input at the meeting as well, so the neighborhood has been very involved in that. Yep. Next item under community development was Portillo's. This is a restaurant people have heard about, possibly coming to the shops. Yep. Tell us about what happened at the meeting. This was a long discussion, over a half hour of discussion. Yeah, and this is a little bit of a tough one. I think we have had ongoing discussions with the shops at Arbor Lakes, and honestly, it's a retail issue across not only here in the metro region, but across the country in terms of retail closures, and where things are trending in a retail perspective, from people shopping online and possibly maybe people not spending as much on stuff as we used to, and more spending money on experiences and dining out and that kind of thing. So I think as we've talked to the shops, I think they're looking at ways not only to address some of the vacancies that they've had, they're in many circumstances providing smaller spaces to retailers. Some of those bigger spaces aren't being leased up as quickly anymore. They just had the opening of H&M this week, which is a very exciting thing coming to, in fact, I think it's today. And the H&M took a very large space, but the frequency of those types of retailers is a little bit less. So what I think we see, and
you can look at whether it's Ridgedale or Southdale or Rosedale. A lot of times these retail centers will start to kind of ring the outside of the center with other uses to try to strengthen the center, bring more people to the site, make it more of a destination, and typically they're focused on some sort of experience or dining. And so I think this proposal is reflective of that trend, and so it's probably not the last type of proposal that we'll see on this. I think we look at the area, Maple Grove Crossing there, where Kohl's and Cub and all those retailers are, that kind of more the retail that was constructed maybe 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, where you have the bigger box, the big park fields, and nothing out at the street edge. I think a lot of those types of centers are now looking at, how do we kind of create a space in here and create more reasons for people to come to the site. So I think those are kind of the overarching issues that we're dealing with from a retail perspective and that we're seeing around the metro region. So Portillo's was proposing to go kind of right out at the edge of Elm Creek, kind of just directly across the street from Great River Energy. So right at that southeast corner of the signalized intersection there. There was concerns over, parking and traffic circulation, mainly on the site. So there were a number of studies done in terms of parking and circulation on the site. How would traffic be managed? I think one of the concerns is Portillo's is very popular for their drive-through service, and they have a lot of queuing associated with that. And so how does that stacking work, and does that start to impede traffic on the site, those kinds of things. So we've been working on this one for a while. Went to the Planning Commission, kind of walked away without a recommendation, 2-2 vote on either side there. And long story short, the council passed a motion to direct the city attorney to prepare a resolution of denial for the application. So this one will come back on April 17th. That resolution of denial will come back there. So I think everybody loves the concept, loves Portillo's, wants to have them in town. This would be their second store in the Minneapolis market. The first one was in Woodbury. They're a Chicago-based business, and they do a great job. I've been at some of their restaurants in the Chicago area, and they do a really great job operating these businesses. So. This one will come back on April 17th, and we'll see kind of what the council does, but it's moving in the direction of denial at this point, based on kind of those parking and circulation concerns.
Very good. All right. Well, we will certainly keep you up to date as it does come back at some future point. Moving ahead on community development, Applewood Point of Maple Grove. This is something new that's going to be near the Silver Creek, and tell us a little bit about the concept here. So this was planned in the beginning, but not planned in the way it's developing at this point. Is that correct?
Well, I think it's just the phasing of it. So we, Silver Creek on Main, of course, constructed a few years ago, and that actually was a parcel of land that the city owned, and there were the opportunity for 2 more phases. So the phase directly to the east of the building would be kind of an expansion of Silver Creek, and then there was thought to be some other type of housing use on the far east end. Applewood Point, or the Silver Creek folks, have worked with United Properties to bring forward the Applewood Point project. United Properties has another project on Applewood Point here in Maple Grove, and a number of them around the metro area. So what it is, it's about 100 units of a senior co-op type housing. More kind of the active senior group. It's all independent living, and so we would be doing that transaction kind of with Silver Creek and then Apple and United Properties for that project. So there were concerns from the neighborhood to the north about kind of the view shed to the park and the density and height of the building, and so the developer actually shifted the building a bit to the more southwest corner of the site of the most easterly parcel, and to try to kind of keep that view shed and not button up the building right against the housing to the north. So I think that attempted to address some of the concerns to the neighbors to the north. And of course, this one kind of sits like right across the street from Central Park, so a very nice amenity area and a nice area to plug in some additional housing. So this one gained concept stage approval on Monday night, and that'll come back around for development stage approval. And we'll have some work to do on our purchase agreements with Silver Creek as well.
And then as this is potentially developed, there'll be a space in between this building
That's
and
right.
the existing building, so that
Yep.
still is one of the phase,
Yep.
and obviously would potentially come as a third phase.
Yep, that would be phase 3, and they would, Silver Creek would have about 3 years from the time of this closing to execute on that last phase of the project, which would really kind of be just an expansion of Silver Creek on Main. So additional independent living units as well as some long-term care units was part of their kind of overall plan for the campus.
Very good.
Yep.
One other community development quick update was the Crave and Bank building.
Yeah.
There's some news about that. How's that progressing?
Yeah, they're going to be coming back to the council in May for their kind of development stage approval. This would be the last piece coming back
Okay.
in front of the council. This is for the Crave restaurant and the bank building kind of out in front of Lunds and Byerly's. So the Wild Bill's building that exists there today would go away, and they would build these 2 new structures, and it kind of has a courtyard area out in front with some nice streetscape up against the corner there. So that one will come forward here in May, and they've told us they want to get going pretty quick. So we'll see that one move through the process here in the next few weeks.
We'll keep you up to date on that. A few
Yep.
other items that came up as some staff updates. 610 is still being talked about, and you spent some time down at the Capitol with the mayor and another mayor, I
Yeah.
understand, to talk about the impact of this area. How did that go, and where does that stand now?
Sure. So we had a hearing on the House Transportation Finance side to get funding for the completion of 610. So Mayor Stephenson testified that day. Representative Smith, of course, is carrying the bill for us, and so he was part of that testimony. And then Mayor Kathy Hempkin from New Hope came and testified. She serves currently as the president of North Metro Mayors.
Okay.
North Metro Mayors is an organization of North Metro Mayors who have work on different issues here affecting the North Metro cities. And North Metro Mayors has been an advocate for the 610 project all along. And so they've been active in kind of writing letters of support to kind of broaden, just beyond Maple Grove. I mean, the project has moved across a number of communities, and now there's this last little piece left in Maple Grove to get done. But I think that broader support is good to communicate to the legislative body so they understand it's not just kind of a one city. This is really a regional transportation improvement.
Right.
So those bills are sitting in those, the bigger bills, the transportation bill. And watching things down at the Capitol, I'm guessing this will all come down to the end of the session and be some things that there's some horse trading done around. So we're just going to keep monitoring that and hopefully stay in play here through the end of the session.
All right. Get your calendars out. A couple dates to mention of things happening at the Government Center that you might want to know about. April 11th and 25th, the Board of Appeal. We mentioned that the last time. Again, a quick reminder of what that is and why residents might want to pay attention.
Yeah, so this is the time of the year where you should have gotten your valuation notice in the mail. They went out March 20th. So if you haven't had a chance to look for it yet, look through your mail. Make sure you take a look at that. This is the time. If you want to debate the value of your property, this is the time to come in and do that. April 11th is kind of our first meeting, and that's at 7 p.m. at the Government Center. We have a follow-up meeting on the 25th, and this is where we kind of finalize the council action on any adjustments to value. Right. The other option is just to simply give our staff a call at the assessing department at the city. They're ready to help you and talk things through, and sometimes there's things that they can just address at a staff level. So I think, if you're having concerns or questions, I think the first step is probably to give a call.
Right.
It helps us if we know you're coming on the 11th to pull up some information about the history of your property and its value, and then we can help you kind of through that process as this period of review goes forward.
Very good.
Yep.
Couple other dates of things happening at the Government Center. Comp Plan Open House is April 26th and May 9th. We've talked about this a few times, and this is a great opportunity for the public to really get involved in the process. Tell us how this works.
Yeah, so we have been working over the last probably 6 to 7 months to kind of take our first look through the land use plan portion of the comprehensive plan. And again, this is a requirement of Metropolitan Council that every 10 years the city update its comprehensive plan. And the first component is kind of the land use, and then there's all the other pieces that kind of flow from that. So there's transportation and infrastructure, parks and trails, and all of those things will kind of flow from this. But this first piece is really about our land use. And we've talked a bit in the past about the gravel mining area, the kind of the balance of the gravel mining area, and then the 610 area.
Right.
And shifting those land uses a bit to be more office and industry, job creation areas, kind of shifting away from the retail,
Right,
speaking
which we
back
talked
to what
about
we
earlier,
talked about
sure.
earlier, that, you know, the retail space that we have, we want it to remain vibrant and healthy, and so we're kind of shifting to pull in jobs behind that. And you know, we talk with developers and brokers every day. They're interested in the land out there. They're supportive of the change that we're, you know, kind of the shift that we're making in land use. So I think over the next, you know, 2 to 3 years, we're going to see some development applications, whether it be out in the gravel mining area or up in the 610 area. It's kind of new territory and land that's
Right.
becoming available for development. So I think we're going to see some development pressure there. But this is the opportunity for the community to come in and kind of weigh in on that.
Good.
You know, not big shifts on the land use, but you know, certainly it'll change the context of things a little bit in terms of, you know, more of that sort of industrial type user. We're still going to want to see a really high level of architectural finish and quality to the buildings. So,
Right.
and we're concerned about truck traffic and all those kinds of things. So
Sure.
we're going to be working hard to manage all of that. But yes, April 26th, May 9th at the Government Center in the evenings. I think we're going to do it around 7 p.m. But it'll be just kind of an open house time. Staff will be available
Very
and
good.
opportunities to give feedback.
So 2 good things out of that. 1, you can give some input if you
Yep.
have some thoughts, but 2, just to be educated,
Sure.
to see some of the things that might be happening, to
Yep.
understand where the maybe direction is going of the city. So
Yep.
keep those dates in mind, information on the website, and we'll give you that at the end of the program.
Yep.
So that was it for the council meeting that happened in early April. Let's hop to some other items that are happening around town. And normally you might not think of going to the government center to see fine art, but you can do that right now.
You
Heidi, tell us
can.
about the art at the center.
Yeah, so the school district, District 279 students have their artwork on display. This is put on by the Maple Grove Arts Center. They coordinate with the school district to do the art show in the Government Center. Right now, the building's open 8 to 4:30, but if we have evening meetings there, so the night of the council meeting,
Very
for
good.
instance. Great display of art. I've been really impressed, and it's been fun to have it around the building, kind of livens
Sure.
things up a little
Right.
bit. But we really do have some talented students in the schools, and so it's been fun to be host to some of their nice artwork.
So stop by and take a look. You'll enjoy it.
Yep.
This next one, I love the name of this event. It's the Longevity Expo is coming to Maple Grove. So tell us about this fine event.
Yeah, so this is going to be at the community center Saturday, April 8th. So real close to when we're we're taping here. So pay attention to the calendar. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The cost is $6 for adults or free with a non-perishable food
Very
donation.
nice.
So if you bring a food donation, and then there'll be a variety of vendors there sharing information about products, services, and information to help everyone be and feel their best at any age. And then there's going to be nutrition, cooking, fitness, finance, all those kinds of things. And there's 2 stages with speakers and seminars and demos. So I think it sounds like a nice event and
A lot
good
happening.
information.
All
Yep.
right, and again, that's happening very quickly. If you're watching the early areas of this program, you can get there. Also, you might be able to get to this. The city does a
Yes.
lot to reach out into the community
Yep.
and help out. And one
Yep.
way you do that is having a blood drive. When is that?
Yeah, so the Memorial Blood Center is hosting a blood drive Monday, April 10th from 9 to noon, and that they park their bus right out front of the Government Center,
Okay.
so easy to get to. And you can go on their website to sign up to donate at mbc.org, so pretty easy. So Memorial Blood Center, so mbc.org. I'm signed up to donate,
Very
so
good.
hopefully we'll
Get up there and join
That's right.
Heidi and the fun up there.
Yes.
Trees, obviously a big highlight in the city of Maple Grove, and there's a big sale going on that might allow you to add some trees to your property there in the city. When is the sale? How do we get involved in that?
Yeah, so there's an order form and detailed listing of all the species available that was included in the spring newsletter
Okay.
that folks should have in their homes.
Right.
Page 8 it was on.
Okay.
And then the deadline for residents to submit their order is April 13th. So that date is coming up here quick too. And then the pickup date for the trees is May 6th. So this is kind of a part of our Arbor Committee broader efforts
Yeah.
to increase our urban forests in Maple Grove, and so this is a great opportunity to do that.
Very good. Head out and join on that fun. Again, the order pickup is on the 13th.
Yep.
All right, summer is coming. Okay,
It
well,
is.
spring is here, but
is.
summer is coming soon, so we have a couple outdoor items to talk about. One is one of our regulars for the summertime. It happens to do with garage doors. All right, why should we be concerned about our garage doors?
Yeah, because we, as the police drive through neighborhoods at night, they see a lot of them standing open.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and so I have a teenage daughter, and I can tell you that there are times where I run downstairs before going to bed, and I just quick go look if the garage door is
Right.
closed, and she's come home last. And lo and behold, the garage door is not closed.
That
So
can
I always
happen.
say, and I will say there are mornings that we've gotten up and the garage door is standing
Sure,
open.
right.
And so I know how this I understand how this happens. But what we see from a police perspective is that this is how burglaries happen. And this is how homes become vulnerable to this type of stuff, is when either service doors to the garage aren't locked, garage doors aren't shut at night. It's easier to do in the summer. People are out and about
Sure.
later. Your kids are coming home at different times, that kind of thing. So I think we just really want to put a kind of an exclamation point on this issue. Check your garage doors, check your service doors. If you have vehicles sitting out in your driveway, particularly as college kids come home for the summer or they're around more, or you have extra vehicle, sitting in your driveway, not locked,
Yep.
anything valuable left in there. We try to do a great job with the neighborhood crime watch type of thing, but we do see a lot of exposure on this. So the more you can sort of, do a little family meeting and say, okay, folks, we got to make sure these garage
Right.
doors stay closed and we're locking things
Sure.
up at night. I think it just, it lets people know that who might come into your neighborhood to do those types of things. Listen, where you're not, this isn't going to happen here.
Yep.
So we really do encourage people to take another look at their garage doors and keep things locked up.
All right, so get started with that in the
Yes.
spring, and then you'll be fine for the summer. But we might mention it a time or two again.
Yes.
Another spring-summer item is tree stewards. You need some people to help out. How can residents volunteer and be a part of this?
Yeah, so you can contact Marilyn Arland at the city, and they're called tree stewards, and they go out and they do pruning of different trees throughout the city, and they have a whole program established. And so they also do training. So they have free training provided with several sessions between now and June. So if you're interested, take a look at our website, but Marilyn Arland's direct dial number 494-6091 for more details on that.
Great way to help out. Speaking of pruning trees, people are probably out looking at their trees and their lawn and some of those things and need a place to take that stuff.
Yes.
And you have a place to do that, and
We
it's
do.
now open?
It is. April 1, the yard waste site opened. And again, if you didn't make it there last year, remember the
that's
access
right.
point has changed, and now 610 is open, of course. So you can just pop over at north of Maple Grove Parkway there, or off Maple Grove Parkway. The access point is just kind of on the
Sure.
north side there of 610. So hours are Monday through Saturday, 8 to 7, Sunday 11 to 7, and then just make sure you bring with your ID to prove your Maple Grove residency to drop off, and it's free to Maple Grove residents. Grass, leaves, straw, wood chips, sod, plant material, sand, rocks, rocks under 2 feet, and then brush up to 10 inches. No, rocks under 2
inches, okay.
Sorry.
Yep.
And then brush up to 10 inches in diameter. So if you go, there's a website, mgyardwaste.com.
Yeah. Great place
Get
to
more
look.
specific
Yeah,
information.
a lot of
Yep.
information there, and again, help on getting you in and out and how the process works, and driver's license, some of those type of things you need to have with that.
Yep.
Let's hop down one item here, then we'll come back to talk about business. But Farmers Market has been indoors, but believe it or not, they're already talking outdoors and getting
Yep.
ready for that.
Yep. 14th outdoor market season beginning June 8th.
Okay, not that long away.
No, we're not far out. And we do have an indoor market on Thursday, April 13th, and that's inside the community center. Over 20 vendors are signed up for the indoor market, so that's still a good market. And then we are hiring a farmers market attendant to assist with kind of the setup and
very good.
takedown customer service on market days. And so there's an application on the city website. So great little part-time job for somebody that just wants to get out, and it's a great way to be involved with the community. Lots of people to interact with there. But it is a little bit physical because we're moving equipment and moving tables
Sure.
and that kind of thing. So if you're interested in something and it just on those days of the market. So.
And then you're there and you see all the hot deals every time,
Right.
so you can
You
really
get
get in
first
on
dibs.
those deals. Speaking of positions, let's hop up one. Let's talk about an economic development intern. So another position available at the city. Tell us what you're looking for there.
Yeah, so we, as you know, we embarked on a more proactive economic development program in the past year. We hired Carrie Furman to come on as our economic development manager. There was an opportunity out there with the Economic Development Association of Minnesota for an intern, a scholarship program for an intern. So we applied for that, and that's about 25 hours a week through midway through August. So it's kind of a summer program. So
Okay.
if somebody's going to school for urban planning or finance and is interested in sort of city types of city types of work around economic
Sure.
development. If they're in their master's program for public administration, that kind of thing, we'd be interested in hearing from them.
Great
And so
opportunity.
the application is there on our city website.
Very good. And you mentioned Carrie. She's been busy with
Yep.
the Open to Business program. We've got a date set for that, and give us an update on how that's going.
Yeah, next open to business is Tuesday, April 11th. And again, this is free one-on-one business counseling for a Maple Grove resident or a business that's here in town. And they are at the Government Center the second Tuesday of the month from 10 to 1. And we do encourage you to call to make an appointment so that Rob Schmoland is the staff person that's there.
Right.
And so he wants to know if you're coming, and then you can meet with him right at the Government Center. Real convenient and easy to do.
Okay.
Yep.
Look to the city's website again to find out more. Let's talk ice skating for a minute. Believe
Yeah.
it or not, there's still ice skating in the city,
They
even
are.
though the loop is done and all the outdoor rinks are done inside.
Indoors,
There's still
yes.
plenty of ice,
Yep.
and you've got a show coming up.
We do. Saturday, April 15th. This is the annual ice skating show as part of the Maple Grove Skating School.
Mm-hmm.
And performances are at 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. And then if you want to get a ticket ahead of time, they're available at the community center. I had an opportunity to attend this last year. The kids put on a great show, and they put a lot of work into the staging and
Oh, yeah.
just the choreography. It's a very lovely event.
Quite a thing to see.
Yep.
Also, quite a thing to see is the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. We've
Yep.
talked about that a few times. It is on Thursday, May 11th. That is at Rush Creek, and now we know who the speaker is going to be. Give us a little background on the speaker.
Yeah, so Thursday, March 11th, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. at Rush Creek. Richard Barr will be the speaker. Richard Barr is a local business owner.
Yeah.
He's president and CEO of MGS Machine here in Maple Grove, kind of one of our industrial employers here in town, but he also has a wonderful nonprofit side
Right.
to his work and has been involved with various forms of ministry. So we're really looking forward to hearing his message. And he actually has, he's a published author, and he has a book, it's called Amazed, Why the Humanity of Jesus Matters. And so I think it'll be a real inspirational morning, and we look forward to hearing from Mr. Barr.
And it fills up fast,
Yes.
so do get your tickets again. That's Thursday, May 11th, 7:15, and it's at Rush Creek. A
Yes.
couple other items to touch on: adopt a trail or a park. So you need some help out there to keep things clean, and it's not only individuals who can sign up, but
Yep.
also organizations. How does that work?
Yeah, so we're inviting organizations or groups of any size, and this can be individuals too, to participate in our adopted park or trail program. They can select dates and times that are convenient to their schedule for spring and fall cleanup efforts, and then the city does provide the trash bags and gloves, and so we provide sort of the needs for the program. And everybody takes a lot of pride in the parks and trail system here, so here's another way that residents can kind of invest in that parks and trail system, make sure things are cleaned up and looking nice. So you can call our Park and Rec staff, call Michelle at 494-6516 if you're interested in that program, or just give a call over to the community center and they can get you connected to Michelle.
Very good. One more item to touch on. We
Yep.
talked about safety from the police end and
Yep.
your garage doors earlier. Now we've got safety from the fire department
Right.
end. We've talked about this a few times. So there's a home safety survey. Tell us how that works and how people can get involved and also get a nice gift out of that.
They can. And so if you can give a call over to Marilyn, seems like we've given out
Yeah.
Marilyn's number
Let's do it again.
several times. Let's do it again. 494-6091. Give Marilyn Arland a call over at the city, and they will have a member of our fire staff come over and do a 45 to 60-minute walkthrough to determine any potential fire, scalding, trip and fall, electrical, other common household hazards. So they'll also check the expiration date on any smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors, ensure everything's working properly. And then they also install a stove top fire stop. We've talked a lot about how a lot of house fires start in the kitchen and something being left on the stove from cooking. And so when a fire would occur on the stovetop, it releases fire suppressing powder automatically and puts out the flames. So this is a great thing, particularly for our senior community, that we think this is a nice program, and it's free to residents. So hopefully, and there are some in-kind guidelines associated with it, but it can be free to residents. So
very good.
Give a call and sign up.
All right, and information as well on the city's website. Let's give you that right now. Here's the website and the next council meeting date as well. The Maple Grove website, maplegrovemn.gov. Next meeting is on Monday, April 17th, 7:30 at the Government Center. And 494-6000, the number if you want to call, talk about some of those ideas coming up with the appeals at the city as well. And then our viewer response line, 533-1710. If you have questions or comments about the program, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.